It's myth busting time. Let's clear up what's not helping you. So typically, people will think that rest will heal an injury. That is 100% a myth. Rest reduces symptoms, but strength and capacity is what actually is going to prevent you getting re-injured. Because a lot of times when you get injured, your body undergoes what we call AMI. It's called arthrogenic muscle inhibition. So say you injure your knee or you injure your ankle. AMI, arthrogenic muscle inhibition, is going to cause those muscles that go into that joint to turn off. Arthrogenic means it's generated by the joint, muscle inhibition. So that joint is causing those muscles to be inhibited. And so you're not going to have as much strength. You're not going to have much power, as much reactivity. And so just resting it is going to cause that muscle to get even weaker and it's going to cause atrophy. And so when you go back to go back to your sport, you're not going to have the strength and capacity, and you're going to actually have a higher chance of getting re-injured. That's why a lot of people who have recurrent ankle sprains, they injure it, they don't do anything, they rest, they come back, they keep injuring that same ankle. So that's myth number one. Myth number two, no pain, no gain. I mean, I grew up in the 90s, so I feel that to a certain extent, but pain is a signal. It's not a goal. Smart loading is the key. And so if you're constantly introducing pain and pain and pain to your brain, your body's going to go in fight or flight mode. It's not going to recover as well. And then you're going to actually increase your chances of injury, re-injury, or maybe causing something to compensate and causing another more serious injury. So that is 100% a myth, whereas as the truth here is it's actually a signal. It's your body telling you something. Those warning lights that are going off, sometimes you should listen to them. Now, muscular pain, burning, your lungs are burning, your muscles are hurting from, running too much. That's a different story. You just got to toughen that up. Okay. So parents, you watching this, or, other people, if you're watching this and you're not agreeing with that, I agree with you, right? Some pain is good, but actual physical pain to the tendons, right? Pain to the joints, that's some stuff we got to look out for. Okay. Now, last one is stretching fixes tightness. That is 100% a myth. You can't stretch and elongate your muscles. There's nothing you can do to sit there and stretch and make your muscles longer, at least not permanently. You can create some temporary laxity and some temporary looseness, but when you stretch, especially static stretching, it's actually going to reduce your force output. You got to think of your muscles like rubber bands. If you stretch a rubber band, it's going to lose its elasticity, right? There's many studies that show if you stretch before a max jump or you stretch before a max bench press, you actually lose force production because that rubber band doesn't have the elasticity. It can't produce the force, and therefore you get less force production, less overall strength as a result. So strength, control, and movement quality create lasting changes. Mobility, flexibility, the actually strengthening at deep end ranges of motion is what's going to help you feel less tight. A lot of times when you are tight, it's actually weakness. And so strengthening and movement control and movement quality is what's going to help you actually fix those tightnesses for good. A lot of people have tight hip flexors and they try to stretch and stretch their hip flexors, or they have a tight back and they try to stretch and stretch their back. It never works. If stretching your hip flexors or stretching your back to work, you wouldn't have any pain. And so what we find is those muscles are actually in a shortened position because they're trying to create stability. They're trying to create the strength that isn't there. Because when those muscles are elongated, when they're really, really long, they don't have any power. And so what happens is they shorten up to create stability. What our job is to loosen them up through mobility and then strengthen them so that way they stay there. So those are just a couple myths that I've been hearing lately, and I wanted to give you guys the truth because with smarter training, you get better results. So we want to stop feeding into these myths and these social media crazes, and these influencers do these 3 stretches. That's not going to work. You need a graded plan. You need someone who knows what they're doing. You need someone who's been there before, who's been where you want to go, that's helped people just like you get to where you want to go. If you found this helpful, like, comment, and subscribe for more content just like this.